It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show, The Philosophy of the Islamic Law. And we are glad, as always, to welcome Professor Muhammad Naim Saie, the Professor of the Islamic Law in the American Open University, the School of Sharia. Professor Muhammad, last episode we were talking about the divisions of the Islamic law, that it's separation between the rules of how we worship and the rules of how we deal with others. And you mentioned that even this separation is not made by the Quran or the Sunnah, but it's made by the Muslim scholars, basically as academic way to teach others. And then you went inside and you said even there is a separation inside the branch itself, like the act of worshipping, there's more divisions. Please tell us more how they come up with this idea and what are the problems that come up with it.
Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Rasulullah wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا ما علمتنا وزدنا من لدنك علما برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين واجعل هذا الكلام كله خالصا لوجهك الكريم. As you said before, that Muslim scholars, they are so genius, so advanced in their thinking on how to organize the knowledge they have. So they made it this way, make different categories. So they put it the section of worshipping, how to rule your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the Creator, with your Lord. And the other section, the section of how to rule your relationship and your act with others, within your family, or your neighborhood, or within your employees, everything. How to sell, how to buy, how to marry, how to divorce. They call it the section of mu'amalat, dealing with others. In order to make it easier for student. So this academic, organizing, educational, designing, they did not mean because they were not those people to separate between first section and the second section. Unfortunately, as I said, it did happen that Muslim people, Muslim nation, they came to the level of full separation between the first section and the second section. We were sometimes condemned, maybe the West, how they come the idea of separation between the state and the religion. And they said this is like produced by them, brought up by them, because they have their own condition and criterias and situations and event, everything, every factors. They push them to separate between the religion and the church.
State, yes.
And we say we don't have this. Our Islam originally to come with a combination of state and religion. First section and the second section. How to deal with Allah, your Lord, how to deal with others. And as I said, the first section is to be at the service of the second section. Both of them to be the service of your mission in this life. Unfortunately, Muslims, they gradually, century after century, they come to that stage of full separation between first section and the second section. So you can see people really praying, fasting, making Hajj more than one time, especially these days.
Making pilgrimage.
I call that Hajj the Hajj of famous and rich, because they make Hajj every year. It's easy for them. They have enough money to make Hajj every year. And they forget about other Muslim people, they are in need to get married or to have a home or something like this. I said, from fiqh point of view, I tell everyone who is able to make Hajj every year, unless he make in the second Hajj enough extra money to help others, they are in need to get married or to have a home or ride. Otherwise, he should take that money, the money of the expenses of the second Hajj, and give it to these people. But this is like the side of what we are talking about. So the full separation, as I said, so you could see people making Hajj, praying, but when they come to the field of selling or buying or authorizing someone to do something or renting something or maybe being guardian for orphan people or being husband, they are a disaster in the second section. Maybe it's not enough for this ummah to make that separation. As I said, it did go further and further in many aspects of our life. They did go to the first section and make another separation. They go to the second section, make another separation. The first section, the section of act of worshipping, they separate between the frame, the picture, the form of the ibadah, the worshipping, and the meaning, and the aim, and the goals and wisdoms of this worshipping. They separate between the form of praying, ruku', sujood, is the form and frame, and the meaning of praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They go to fast Ramadan, separate, make that separation between the form of fasting, stop eating, drinking, doing what is lawful to you before you fast, and that's it. It's like physical fasting. Physical fasting to show other that I'm fasting. And then after sunset, you are the same person before Ramadan. You are doing everything against the meanings and the goals and wisdom of fasting in Ramadan. Go to Hajj. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's a tragedy sometimes. Wallah al-Azim, when you hear sometimes that during the Hajj itself, not after the Hajj, someone during the Hajj on Arafat, he is getting angry, he is fighting with someone, he is insulting someone with bad word, cannot be said in the street of some maybe famous city like Las Vegas. He is bringing that very harsh word on Arafat during the Hajj. So what kind of Hajj he's doing that person? So full separation between the Hajj as a form, as a frame, and the meanings and the goals and wisdom of this Hajj. This is in the section of Ibadat. Now if you go to the second section, you will be more ashamed.
Really?
Wallahi la ilaha illallah. Someone is being very happy and very proud about himself that he was able to steal that land legally.
Legally? Steal it
Stealing,
legally?
So I call it like legal thief, legal theft, legal steal. He did buy it. He did pay money. And he got the land. How? By putting pressures on the lady of this, the owner of this land. She is old lady. She doesn't know the prices of the this land or the whole maybe market. She's not aware of it. Or maybe some orphan people with some guardian, but that guardian is very unfaithful person. He was making some deal with this person. So at the end he got the land.
Legally?
So legally. From fiqh point of view, he did fulfill the requirement of the form of selling and buying. But he lost the spirit, the meaning, the wisdom of selling and buying in Islam.
SubhanAllah.
And that person, he will be a very successful person in this life. He will maybe run away with it, but the day of judgment will be stopped. Come here. How did you get this land? And this is what you be ashamed of when you see it's not just like selling or buying. Maybe most of our aspect of life we have seen this to be practiced in a very shameful way. husband, wife, children, kids, student, maybe professors or maybe teachers. They are showing their form of teaching, but they are pushing their student to go and take extra lessons outside.
Private lessons, yes.
So they are not doing, they are not showing the spirit, they are not fulfilling their responsibilities the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from them subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's like separation after separation. So our duty right now, if we talk about Islamic philosophy of Islamic law, as you liked to see inshallah ta'ala, it's like a strong call for Muslims, for the whole nation, that come back to your deen and make this marriage to be happen again between these two sections, section of ibadat, worshipping, section of dealing with others, and make that marriage again to happen again between the form of Islamic law issues and the meanings and the wisdoms of these Islamic law issues.
Inshallah. Of course, I don't want to leave this point till I ask you how we can do this, how we can make this merge between these two parts together. Is it through schools, and how we can reach schools? We have no control. Me and you, we don't have any control. Through mosques, through articles, how we can solve this problem? How we can make this kind of solution? People are listening to us and they say, okay, what is the solution?
It is mutual responsibility. It is educational responsibility and practical responsibility. We have to spread this awareness, this knowledge, these meanings, these understandings, because work starts by idea. Even inventions start by idea, right?
Yes.
So you have to have the idea, you have to believe in it. So we have to have the idea, we have to have the knowledge, understanding, we have to believe in what we are saying, we have to put it in the field of practice. We have to start from ourselves. We cannot wait for someone else. You have to call for these beautiful meanings and start by yourself. And always put a doubt in yourself while you are trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By doubting your work and saying maybe the wrong coming from me, not from others. So I have to put it this way, inshallah. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help all of us to achieve our goal, inshallah.
Inshallah Rabbil Alameen. We will go for a quick break. Please stay with us.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Reviewing the second rule of al-mim as-sakinah. That is the letter mim. So if the first mim is non-vowel or sakinah, followed by a voweled mim. So I will merge the first in the letter and I will pronounce them as one. وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ. And we spoke abundantly on the virtues of seeking refuge with Allah from the outcast Satan. Especially for the first reciter, he's got to recite it out loud.
وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْبُرُوجِ.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
فإذا جاءت الصاخة.
وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ.
Make sure it's Dhamma. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ. Thank you for joining us.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, before the break we were talking about how we can solve this problem, and you mentioned that we have to start with ourselves. The problem that people don't know much about this religion, and they have this kind of separation between the ibadat, the act of worshipping, and how to deal with others. So please tell us more about how we can solve this issue, because it's a big issue.
Yes, as we said before, that we have to bring it to the level of education. We have to spread more educationally about this fact and these understandings through every mean we are able to.
Like now?
Yes, like TV programs,
Yes.
newspapers, magazines, lectures, books, everything we are able to use to spread this very important and very necessary understanding among our Muslim people, our Muslim nation, inshallah ta'ala. We are required to do that, inshallah. But at the same time, we don't stop at the level of spreading education. We have to start working, practicing, to show some examples. So nobody can say that I cannot do something inside my home. He is in a full authority. He is capable to show his wife that he did understand the meaning between the form of marriage, or that relationship between the form of marriage and the meanings of marriage. He's practicing this kind of merge, or that kind of connection. So he's a husband by law. He's a husband by his practice. He's showing his wife the real husband when he understands the meanings of Islam through a marriage life.
Can you please give us some examples about this? Because to be
give you a very quick example. It does happen in our life that some people, they are very tough and rough inside their home, very nice outside their home. Because as I said before, or maybe different occasions, that being nice outside is very easy. And especially when you get some reward, very quick reward. Oh, thank you very much. You are so nice. You are so kind. You don't get this inside your home, most likely. So you are in rush to get some very quick reward. And you don't have that kind of responsibilities toward others. So it's very nice to show your kindness through like a short visit, very entertaining maybe gathering, very delicious dinner. Very easy to show your kindness, and you are so gentle, so nice. But inside your home, it's a real test. It's a real exam. How to show patience towards your wife, your kids, when you educate them, teach them, or maybe listen to them. When you try to teach them from the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when sometimes you have some kind of maybe conflict or a clash between your own interest and the whole family interest, between your own desire and the right of others, like your wife right or your kids right. How you could make that balance, how you could make some kind of judgment in that case. In many cases, someone came to his home and he's waiting for the lunch or the dinner. She did not prepare it. He is doing a big problem out of that. He, in a lack of knowledge about his right inside his home. So he's very tough, very rough with his wife because of this little issue. Sometimes he wants to show his generosity to others. So he brought some guests out from outside without informing his wife, or maybe take permission from her that I'm bringing with me tonight 10 guests. So make dinner for them. It did happen, and it's happening everywhere in Muslim countries, especially in some other countries. I don't want to mention names here, but it did happen, and it is happening. He wants to show his generosity, his kindness toward his friend and his guest, at the expenses of whom?
Of the wife.
Of the wife. And his children too. That means he's separating now between the form of marriage and the meanings of marriage. You have to take permission. If you ask a Muslim scholar, am I allowed to do that? No. Unless she give you the pass, the visa, the okay, the signal light, the green light, you are able to bring your guests. Otherwise, you could bring them to your home, but she is not obligated to make the dinner for them.
That will lead me to another question. It seems like Muslims in general, I don't want to generalize, but the majority, they mix between the religion and the culture. and they put the culture as if it's a part of the religion. Is that misunderstanding of their culture or misunderstanding of the religion? And what made them mix these two together? And how we can separate and teach them, no, this is culture, has nothing to do with the religion, and this is the... Because sometimes, when, especially in the marriage part, when we go deeper in the religion, men in general, they get surprised by things that they couldn't believe it. Like that he has to take the permission of his wife before he invite anybody.
Sometimes they call it al-urf. Al-urf, what is being known to most of the people as a very common practice, acceptable practice. But in Muslim scholar, they put conditions for that urf or very known practice to be acceptable. They said, as long as it does not contradict and goes against the Islamic teachings. So within the frame of Islamic commandment, Islamic teachings, Islamic obligations, you are able to put your own cultures, your own habit, and to make it as one recipe. So culture does contradict or go against Islamic teachings or commandments or obligations, it is not recognized by Islamic law.
It's rejected.
It's rejected. But if this culture does not contradict, like people, their culture is to eat rice with some kind of spices. Culture has been going on in India and Pakistan, or maybe some places in Arab countries.
Yes.
Does not contradict with Islamic teaching or commandment or obligations.
No.
Muslim women in Indonesia or Malaysia, they used to wear the pants and over that long shirt. This is their common culture. But it does have the requirement of the Islamic hijab. So it does not contradict with the Islamic teaching, commandment or obligations. It is acceptable. But when, God forbid, someone tell me it's our tradition, our culture for Muslim lady to show her belly. This is our custom, our culture in special occasions. I said no. In the front of whom? Any people, any person. This is rejectable culture because it does have a contradiction here, a conflict with the Islamic teaching and commandment or obligations. So people, they cannot put the excuse of culture as something to escape from the responsibility of making that separation between Islam as a form and Islam as a meanings and goals and wisdoms. Islam is so wise to adopt many cultures, many customs within its beautiful, comprehensive frame of obligations and teachings and commandments.
That will lead me to another question regarding the culture and the Sharia. You mentioned that some people, when they act the acts of worshipping, like for example fasting in Ramadan, they take the frame and they left the content. Like for example, they say in the culture in Ramadan, we fast, but in the breakfast we have to have a big meal. This is our culture. You have to have all kind of food, all kind of desserts. Would that contradict the religion in this matter, or it will go, can be passed?
Well, having beautiful dinner at the sunset time does not contradict with the issue of being nice and easy in your stomach. Could have a beautiful table, beautiful dinner with different kind of food, but you are taking your part. And the same way that the Prophet was recommending, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَثُلْثٌ لِطَعَامِكَ, 1/3 for your food, 1/3 for your water or drinking, and the last third for your breathing, breath. So beautiful food and showing some kind of happiness in Ramadan is part of the Islamic teaching. Because someone said in Ramadan, I will not bring to my table anything rather than I used to bring before Ramadan. No. Show some kind of appreciation, some kind of celebration to Ramadan. Show your generosity toward your family. And the lady, the same thing, the wife. She is cooking something special in Ramadan. Show that they are very happy being in Ramadan. This is good, inshallah ta'ala. But that does not contradict of having like your meal the same way he recommended, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You don't have to fill your stomach till about you are going to die. So this does not contradict with that. So we have to be very careful when we are saying contradicting or conflicting, how it does come together, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah Rabbil Alameen. So this, we have to go back, the same thing that you mentioned in the very first episode. Who is qualified to talk about the Islamic law? Because basically, some people will say, no, that will contradict the Sharia law, because basically you have to be humble, you have to be modest in your meals, you have to eat like Prophet Muhammad or the Sahaba, like two type of foods only, not more than this. So basically it has to be this type of things. You have to go back to the qualified people to ask, not anybody to tell you this is culture, it has to be away from or rejected by the Sharia law. Am I correct about this?
Yes, exactly. As you said before, that we don't agree, we don't accept for someone to talk about Islamic law or Islamic issues in its details, in its very comprehensive organizing or categorizing, but to be a qualified person, which is the Muslim scholars. And we said before in different occasions, even for a da'wah ila Allah, calling for the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has to have some kind of qualifications, especially in our modern time. If calling fi sabilillah or calling to the word of Allah means to command good things inside your home, inside your street, inside your neighborhood, your school, everyone has to do that job. But when it comes to like to be a special person to direct, supervise the whole nation, the whole ummah, you have to have some qualifications here.
Inshallah Rabbil Alameen. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. We would like to thank Professor Muhammad Naim Saie for being with us and sharing with us his knowledge. Please join us next episode. We have more and more to say. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.